Here's the other thing is, okay, we have the collision mitigation. We don't have a place to put your foot anymore, but they designed it that, hold on a second here. I didn't get this latch right, my bad. Well, you can actually lift this hood from the side. You no longer have to grab it by the front, which makes it much easier. They specifically designed that for a smaller individual, that he can just lift the hood from the side, and you're not going to hurt a thing. So as you go under the truck here, one thing is they lowered the engine, and they did a tremendous job of trying to design this engine that it will save hours for the techs. And one thing that I really compliment Daimler on doing is they flew 9 technicians from all over the country through the whole process of this truck. And you can really tell when you take a customer into this truck, it is amazing. He just looks at it and goes, man, this is one of the cleanest, you know, under the hoods to work on that you can get to accessibility. And when I tell them that 9, you know, techs, you know, flew in several times to work with the engineers on this, they said we can tell. And one thing is, you will notice here is one of the only outside connections right here, this module. Everything else is in under the cab. So while we're on this side of the truck, I'm going to show you the E-Volt, which is on this side of the cab. And what they've done is, we used to have 3 sand modules on this truck. We only have 1 now. So we have all the fuses and everything. So we want to get everything out of the weather and inside the cab of the truck. And by doing that is, you don't have to worry about salt and corrosion getting on the all the fuses and connections. And that fuse panel pops right out to get to all your other modules behind. And that is a very slick design. And I tell you, I've had many mechanic look at this, and we're greatly we're thankful for it. And they also said that why did it take us so long to get to that? The other thing is, as you see, you can get into the panels very well. Your AC filter is your in-cab filter is right in there. It's easy accessible. The top of the dash comes off very easy, so you can do get your all your AC and all your modules very easily. So when it comes to an in-cab design and working with the technicians, I tell you, they definitely hit a home run. Another thing that is tied into the Detroit Assurance that I have more and more customers going with is the Bendix blind object. So it's a blind spot, and I have more and more customers that are going to that technology, and it is a good bang for the buck. I'm hearing a lot of good comments. They're not seeing their blind spots, as many accidents on this side of the truck. So as we wrap around, let's go around the front of on the other side of the truck. Let's show you under the hood. But one thing is the accessibility for your windshield fluid, and then you got your cab air filter. They just tried to make everything that you're getting as much moisture out of that system. And that's one thing is, I do not see the AC issues we had at one point. We also got a hot spot here that you can easily get to jump start the truck. And one other thing is, we'll flip around to the other side of the truck here. As you notice, you'll see in the shop a lot of times these mirrors collapse right against the hood. Makes it easy, makes it easier when you do it when the hood is shut. LED headlights is standard. We could still get the standard bulb, but I tell you, I do not recommend it. Every customer that has gone to the LED has not gone back. Driver visibility is just second to none. So I'm sure you guys heard customers complaining about bump steer. Well, one thing is, Freightliner was good before, but they just made this a lot better. They took 50% of the play out of the steering wheel. And by doing that is they mounted the steering box to the very front of the frame. By increasing the length of that arm, they were able to take a lot of the bumps. And until when you drive the truck down the road, you will notice that you're just not moving your steering wheel near as much. You hit a bump, you don't get that kick in the steering wheel. It just flows very nicely. So that's been a huge feature. And as you see, for dropping the engine into the frame rail, and with the new frame rails that they designed for this truck, just the access to everything, your starter. I've had so many techs crawl under this truck and say, wow, they just can't get over for a 15-liter engine to be in a setback axle truck, how easy it is to maintain everything. So that is the key. that they put a lot of effort into that. As you see, you only see airline on this side of the truck. You're not seeing wiring everywhere. Classic Cascadia had the fuse box right here. You have eliminated that stuff. And we have had problems in the past with corrosion on that. So as you come back, of course, you see the Classic Cascadia. I'm just going to open up the sleeper doors here real quick so you get a peek in there, Paul. Got a nice storage box. Got the inverter that's very handy. And we got outlets all through the cab for the inverter. Great feedback on that. They went to a standard 1500 watt inverter. That was the other thing when they designed this truck. They eliminated some features that gave us some warranty issues. We used to have the 1000 watt inverter, and it's all about improvement, and that comes from Daimler. As you can see, Paul, you see the ladder up there as well. So if we walk around to the back of the truck, as you notice on the night system, this truck has the night system, and we were the first ones in the industry to put the night system in, have our own in-house APU. We're working with Bergstrom on this, but just improvements. Before, that whole box used to be painted steel. Now you see it's plastic, so you don't have the rusting issues. The other thing that they came out with is the L bracket. We used to have the slide bar, and I tell you, we're really going to the L bracket. We're seeing a lot less issue with having the hoses slide along the back of the cab. One thing is, I've been promoting a lot to our customers is the Phillips 3-in-1 airline, and it just makes it a lot better by having that hose wrapped. That way you don't see the chafing and stuff. It just keeps everything a lot longer, and it keeps your CSA scores much better because DOT doesn't see the chafing on it. It keeps it from happening. Yes, we have the LED backup lights. This truck is 100% LED. You go in the inside of the truck, everything's LED, and unfortunately we got too many people here to all crawl through the truck at once, but when you go into that bunk, you will see a brighter interior than any truck in the industry. And then as we go back here to the powertrain, we have the new management, the lube management system that Detroit has had. So what they're doing is, rather than having that oil work against us so hard, like running through a mud puddle, we're having this, the new system where it takes the oil and distributes it properly. And what it does is we picked up some efficiencies on fuel mileage on that. Here's a tried and true airliner suspension that Freightliner's had, and this suspension is second to none in the industry. I've been working with it since the 90s, and I tell you, it's been a true test of time. We have customers out there that have Peterbilts that I know that have actually had this suspension and put it on their Peterbilts. I know of at least 15 trucks like that. So that is a true testament to that. So now, as we're back here, we're looking at the aero package. So Freightliner has worked with airflow, and these aren't the typical airflow. If you go down the road and you look at competitor brands trucks, you see airflow on there. They're not quite as big, they're not quite the same. And Freightliner actually has a patent on this airflow. So if a customer wants to buy these, this has to come from Freightliner. You just can't buy this from airflow. This is a proprietary to Freightliner. So Paul, as we walk up through here, so that's the thing, and we've got the airflow wheel covers. So as you're looking at this package right here, you're picking up 1.1% on fuel mileage. So as a guy that's putting a lot of miles on it, it definitely pays for itself, and it pops off very easy. As you see, it's not a maintenance nightmare like this used to be. Thank you, Kurt. And the other thing, Paul, is we have lengthened the extenders to 24 inches, and by going to 24 inches, we're closing that trailer back. And now we're at a 223 wheelbase. We used to always be at a 225. So now we are able to slide things together, and I tell you guys, when you're speccing trucks, just make sure that we keep that gap as tight as we can. Now there's something like getting too tight, so if you're on a 72 inch, you know, you want to be looking at the 223 as your shortest. And maybe if you have a reefer carrier, you need to work with him a little bit, but there's reefer guys out there running 223 and getting away with it. So It's all about fuel mileage and managing the whole system. And as you see, you know, with the fairing, everything is kicked together. So you have that airflow that's going out. So rather than hitting in here and going between the wheels, you've got everything keeping out. So as you come together on this truck, you know, when they look at driver comfort, they look at all the different options they looked at. I tell you, they have put together a very powerful unit. The other thing they've done is we go under the batteries, they have changed the battery box. So as you see before, the battery box were enclosed in a steel plastic covered tray. Well, they found out that was hurting battery life because you weren't getting enough air through to pull the battery. So you definitely, as you can see, this was not something they just started overnight. They started this whole process back in 2012. And what's amazing is they came out with this truck in 2008. And in 2012, Daimler's saying, hey, what are we doing for the future? So it is pretty impressive just to see how they just brought this whole truck together. Another thing is you will see on the visor that we have a visor on this windshield. The reason I do it a lot for our stock trucks is because we're doing a lot of our stock trucks, the owner-operator guys, they want to set themselves apart a little bit. They want the visor. That will knock you down about 1% in fuel. Now I have a lot of fleets I'm selling without the visors, but you know, some guys say, hey, they want every % of fuel they can get, so visors off. But for sitting on the lot, it's a good showpiece. So anyway, as a Daimler product, you guys have any questions?
How much is it?
How much is it?
What's a hand wedge? I got something.
This truck sitting right here, it has all the collision mitigation systems. This truck is completely loaded. We're looking around 175 on this unit.
Have any of your customers said anything about insurance discounts for the collision mitigation and stuff? Because Sean Durbin stopped this, and his insurance company told him that if he has that safety stuff, it's a discount.
Yes, we are seeing safety companies really jumping onto that with that piece of it. And what's interesting is I see a lot of customers going to the video capture as well.
Yeah,
and that has been huge because you know what, if you are at fault, you know, as people say, well, that video, that might, you know, go against you. But on the other hand, as the insurance companies and attorneys say, you know what, it's our fault, boom, get it done. But I've known a lot of people that has saved them a ton. And I actually was with a driver one time where they had the cameras in their trucks, and he didn't like the idea of the camera. And I said, what do you think? He says, well, when they brought it on, I was going to quit. And he said, 2 weeks later, he says, I was in an accident, I was in a fatality, I killed somebody. He says, that camera kept me out of court and saved our company a lot of litigation issues because it wasn't my fault. And he said, if you would have come to the scene of the accident, there would have been a good fight for either case. But since it was on video, it was right there. And last but not least, I'm going to shut the hood here. And this is something that Freightliner came out with a long time ago that's very nice, is they have shocks on the hood. But as far as the aerodynamics, everybody looks at this guy and says, you know, wow, you're going to be replacing that all the time. But at airport, it's like NASCAR, you know, what can you do to get the air around the truck? So as you see, this thing is very close to the ground, but it is durable. They have a test where they have drivers every night when they come into work, when they drop their truck off at the lot, they pull over a curb with this. So they go over a concrete curb, and then in the morning when they back out, they yank it back out over that concrete curb. So as far as the durability of this has been very, very dependable. They have had to replace a few, but I know they did a lot of testing up north in the cold and ice and snow, and it's been fairly bulletproof. The other thing is, you look at the grill here in the front. They designed the grill. Look at the opening of this grill to get airflow through this truck. It's all about fan on time. So they've done a ton of designs, and within doing all the airflow tests, it's amazing what they have done to help with the fuel efficiency of this truck. So as you can see, Daimler has made our job very easy for selling this truck. So let's sell a lot of trucks. Thank you.
Amen.